Sup, world? So I know many of you are excited that Diablo 4 is just around the corner, and I'm excited to present to you the official level 1 through 50 Rogue Penetrating Shot Guide for Maxroll. For those who do not like video guides, you can check out the link below, and I have a written version of this on the Maxroll website itself. So let's jump on in. All right, so let's talk about the build itself. These 4 skills are absolute must when it comes to your penetrating shot rogue, and that is going to be Dark Shroud, Shadow Imbuement, Poison Imbuement, and Penetrating Shot. So your agility skill and your basic is going to be kind of up to you in terms of how you want to play your rogue itself. So let's actually start off with the basics. We're gonna have to refund everything. We're gonna have to build this from scratch so you can kind of see why we chose what we chose along the way. So we're gonna confirm there. Actually, really wasn't that special. That's a pretty cool graphic. I didn't see it. I've never seen that before. But anyways, so let's start out with the basic skills here. And this is kind of important because I do want to mention that the difference between here. You have 2 choices. You got puncture, and you also got forceful arrow. Forceful arrow is going to be your long range basic. It's also a little bit easier to play because it is long range. If you do choose this arrow, you will go down to fundamental forceful arrow, which allows you to be able to knock back mobs to keep them off of you and make it easier to stay distance. Puncture actually attacks a little bit faster, has a slow, and also is able to get you some resource back, so it's also pretty good for that too. The issue with puncture though is that it isn't as far of a range as forceful arrow, so this is more of like a mid-range basic attack here. The faster you can stack your combo points, the more damage you do overall. So DPS wise, puncture kind of takes the cake, but in terms of overall, forceful arrow is a very just efficient arrow. So in the guide, I do recommend forceful arrow. So we're gonna actually just forceful arrow here. And I kind of just want to showcase a couple of things. While forceful arrow is a slower attacking generator, there are ways to kind of make it feel a little bit less clunky. So you can actually cancel the animation of your basic attack into the core skill. So if I shoot 3, if I hit right click at the moment I shoot the basic attack, I cancel pretty much half of the animation of the basic attack. Now this does not scale with attack speed. It's kind of a weird thing, but it does make playing slower attack speed builds at the start a little more manageable, because then you can just cancel the last animation of that basic attack, making it feel a little bit better. Here, puncture, if you notice, it's a little bit shorter, but you do attack a bit faster, which allows for your combo point stacking. But you see he's kind of far away. It's like mid-range. It's not much of a reach, so again, more dangerous, however bigger DPS option. So the route that you go is for the most part pretty much up to you. Let's go with forceful arrow, and then we opened up our penetrating shot. So once we get here, we're going to put a point to penetrating shot, and we're going to go directly to advanced penetrating shot here, because we want the knockdown, we want the slow. That's going to make us be able to survive better, and we also get access to more multipliers like crowd controlled and slow to enemies that we find on gear. You have one more point here. You want to go back to forceful arrow and take fundamental forceful arrow for the knockback, which is going to be really good. Now here, this is where you kind of pick the style of rogue you want to play. And first off, let's start with Caltrops. Caltrops is damage/defense option here. If you want to see big numbers and you want to stay at a safe distance and whatnot and not have to work as hard, Caltrops is your answer here. You also got Shadow Step here, and this is actually one of my favorites. I like Shadow Step for the reason of being able to get out of sticky situations, such as being crowd control, which is rogue's worst nightmare if you're playing a range rogue. I would recommend taking the disciplined Shadow Step here, just so therefore you can use it more often if you hit a different enemy, so therefore you have more uptime on it. You can also use it to travel. If you see an enemy across the screen, you can use it to travel and then move faster that way. So it works really well in battle for repositioning and getting out of sticky situations, as well as travel, right? And then everyone's favorite for almost every other build in the game, you have dash. And so dash is, well, self-explanatory. You get 2 of these charges here, and then you just dash either through enemies or you dash around the world to well, moving around quicker, right? So dash is going to be the most effective moving around the world. Caltrops is going to give you the most defense / offense. Shadow Step is kind of like a balance between the two. All these work. You just kind of pick whatever's your style. You still got 2 more points before you can open up the next tree. So I would actually go back and pick up Penetrating Shot here. We'll throw 2 more points there. This opens up this tree. And your next important thing will be Dark Shroud. Now, of course, you cannot play any rogue build, or I would not suggest that you play any rogue build without Dark Shroud. It is our main source of damage reduction. So go ahead and put a point there, put a point here, and you want to go here, Subverting Dark Shroud, because it gives you 20% movement speed with all shrouds up. So we got some points here. We need 2 more points. So we're going to go ahead and max out Penetrating Shot. So by this time, you should already have a full ranks into your Penetrating Shot, which is obviously, you know, where all your damage comes from. But here's where it starts to get excited again, and this is what your imbues. So you got your Shadow imbuement and your Poison imbuement. So you want to put a point in both. So 1 in Shadow, 1 in Poison immediately, so therefore you can use both. Shadow Imbue is for multiple different reasons. For one, it helps you one-shot the screen, blow things up easily, and provides a bit of AoE until you can get your side arrows for your Penetrating Shot core skill. It's also really good for resource, getting resource back using Consuming Shadows. So when you kill something that has shadow damage on it, you regenerate 10 energy, which is really, really good. Keeps that full, so you can get the advanced Penetrating Shot passive to happen more often. From there, you also got a pretty good way of being able to apply Vulnerable. Rogues really struggle with Invulnerable until late game with a particular glyph. Poison is very important for those like mobs that just kind of linger, that just happen to still be alive, that Shadow didn't take care of. You have 2 charges of each one of the imbues. So you'll use 2 shadows, and then you'll use 2 imbuements for 2 poison imbuements for anything that is left over. Poison is actually stronger than Shadow and becomes more important later on, especially because a lot of times people say that Penetrating Shot single target damage is pretty bad, and that's kind of true. But when you add Poison imbuement to it, it ends up being, you know, really good against single target. Is it Twisted Blade single target? No. Is it Rapid Fire single target? No. But it is respectable single target to where you don't feel like fights or boss fights during the campaign or dungeons will take forever, because it doesn't, especially with this imbue. So very underrated imbue. I would max this out whenever we get around to it. But first, we want to take these 2 points here, go ahead and get the Consuming Shadows, so therefore we can get our resources back quickly. And then from there, we want to get our Vulnerable happening too as well. We actually want to go here for this. And then also take, at the start, mix Poison imbuement. Reason being is because we don't have enough crit chance yet to make blended Poison imbuement actually work quite well. So save that for endgame and kind of respec for that endgame. But at the beginning, since we do have pretty good lucky hit chance with Penetrating Shot, this actually procs often enough for it to be useful. So you do want to go ahead and take that. When we get to this node, we actually want to go ahead and take Innervation. Innervation is really good in terms of just being able to get our resource back. Now, once we get to this point, you actually want to go back and start taking ranks into Poison imbues. So go ahead and max your Poison imbue out, because this is a lot of damage. It's really, really good. So you want to max that out. And then from here, you want to start putting points into Adrenaline Rush and Haste. Okay, so Haste, Adrenaline Rush isn't really that great, but Haste is, because it's going to provide you with 15% more movement speed once you max that out. So, but key passive opens up at this point. Take Precision. Do not take Victimize. Not that Victimize is bad, it's just that you already have a lot of AoE with Shadow Imbue and things, so there's no reason to add more AoE on top of AoE when things are already blown up and dying. You want to see bigger numbers, so go with Precision, even if it can be annoying to try to line up your core skill with maximum precision stacks. It's still a better passive to take. So now that we did that, we can go back and finish up here, take Haste to get the movement speed, because movement speed, again, very, very important. And after we do all that, we want to go back and grab all of the damage passes that we can. So here, Precision Imbuement, very important, because of course we want to crit with our imbues. And then we want to come back up here, take Exploit. And then we also want to take Malice, and weapon mastery. So we're gonna just go ahead and just grab all the passives here. If you're going forceful arrow, concussive is actually pretty good too as well. So you can put points into that if you would like. You also got stutter step, which of course if you're stutter stepping. And then from there it's going to depend on what agility skill that you chose to take. So if you took caltrops, you want to actually put points into refrigerator finesse, as that's just more damage from chill and frozen. Really good multiplier if you're using caltrops. If not, then you can go ahead and just immediately dump points into dark shroud. You'll be able to do it anyways. Don't get me wrong, there is more points. I just didn't unlock all the renown points. So, but this kind of gives you an idea of what to look for and what to spec into when running your penetrating shot rogue. So now we're going to get into the Codex powers, the things that you want to try to grab along the way as you're leveling up in the campaign. But one of the ones you want to get that's pretty important would be the rapid aspect. Playing bow rogue in general is pretty slow. Getting this and putting it on the amulet that you're not going to replace really much at all as you're leveling is going to be a godsend to make penetrating shot rogue feel better. Another one that's very good to have, this one here, and this one's actually pretty easy to get because it's in Skosklin, which is in Act 2. Pick this one up along the way. It's basically synergizes with combo points. You use your basic attack, you gain more damage. Pretty simple. Grab it if you can. The trick shot aspect, very good for penetrating shot. However, it's pretty far away, and while you're doing the campaign, so if you want to grab it towards the latter parts of Fractured Peaks and you're kind of on the border and you want to slip down and go and get it, you can, but it is kind of out the way, so you just kind of hope that it drops. But if you really want it, you can go grab it, and that really makes your penetrating shot really pop off. Now on to defense. Some quick ones to grab would be one that I actually did, this one here, I'm sorry, the aspect of might. This is very good as you're using basic attacks anyway, so grab that. Some dry steps, not too far into the campaign, so get that dungeon, get that aspect, put it on something. One that's also very good too as well is this one here, the aspect of disobedience. However, it is pretty much further into the campaign, so you grab, by the time that happens, you might have found one, maybe, hopefully. One of the most important ones though that you can get early is the aspect of the protector, and this is a barrier one. This is probably one of the better barrier ones to get because it has only like a 30-second cooldown, but it's up for 10 seconds every time you decide you actually damage an elite. And so for penetrating shot rogue, it's very good because generally speaking, you're going to kill them within that 10 seconds most of the time anyways. And then there's an offensive aspect that actually gives you more damage for having the barrier. So very good aspect to get, and it's in Fractured Peaks and towards the beginning of the game. So you can grab that really quickly and go on and have something that's going to really help you. Some resource things to the aspects of the Umbral, very good. Also in dry steps, most rogue builds actually use this. Something that's also really good too against like single target. Energizing aspect is also in Fractured Peaks. Very good for let's say you're going forceful arrow and nothing else is around and you've already crowd control. This is actually pretty good for that too. Now, I mentioned all the aspects in the Codex of Power because as you're leveling up, it's going to be very difficult to get the legendary aspects that you want to drop. It is likely that you will finish the campaign and only maybe have 3 aspects worn, and everything else is rare gear, so that can happen. But let's talk about the gear stuff real quick. So on a 2-hand weapon, if you're going forceful arrow basic attack, you actually want to use a bow. Otherwise the crossbow is just going to feel pretty clunky. So I would actually level with the bow unless you just find a really good crossbow and you're just like, oh god, this is so much more damage. Thought the crossbow, sure. But if you're doing puncture, definitely do 2-hand crossbow because of the fact that your puncture basic is actually being casted from your daggers and not from your 2-hander. So now when it comes to weapons, you just want your typical damage stuff, like you want damage to slowed enemies, you want crit damage, you want imbue damage, distant damage. There's a lot of different damage multipliers or modifiers that you can grab. Vulnerable damage. When it comes to the one-handers, because our core skill is based off the 2-hand weapon, we don't care about the damage range of the one-handers, but what we do care about is the type of one-hander. You want a sword, you do not want a dagger. If you look here, the primary attribute is damage to close enemies. We don't care about that. We are a distance, right? So, and we can't change that. It always rolls that. So a sword always rolls critical strike damage. So you always want a sword, and you always want to try to get most of similar damages that you want on a 2-hand weapon as well to roll here. Okay, and in terms of sockets, if you find some gems and you have sockets, put either sapphire or emerald in your gear. Either one doesn't, it doesn't really matter for leveling. It's just going to be more crit damage to anything that is crowd controlled with sapphire or anything that's vulnerable with emerald. So either one kind of, for the most part, works there. When it comes to rings, just go for damage modifiers. You basically want crit chance. Crit chance is the biggest thing that you can get. So I will go for crit chance on rings if you can find them. Other than that, just more damage options. Here you got some ranks to certain skills. You can go here, but there's also more damage options, as well as cooldown options too, as well, and even movement speed too. Then you got your gloves, which is your last offensive slot here. And here you want crit chance too as well, because again, we need crit chance. We don't have a lot of it in the beginning, but crit damage, attack speed is really good too as well. Damage to imbue skills, all that stuff is good. The most important though is the ranks to your core skills. So if you see here, I have, ranks of penetrating shot and things, and that's massive. In terms of your armor slots, you have your helm, chest, and your boots. For your helm, you can roll cooldown reduction. You can also roll basic attack speed, skill up attack speed to get that cool. You can also roll ranks to imbuements, which is also very good too as well, and very useful. Particularly the poison imbue. The most important thing I think that rolls on the helmet is going to be the lifelong kill. And I know that might sound really weird or really strange, but rogue doesn't really have much of any sustain, especially if you're playing at a distance. So as we're one-shotting things or we're blowing up things, we will take some tick damage. As you can see, I'm not even full health still, right? I didn't even regen any health, right? So, but going forward, if we blow things up, that's our way to be able to sustain our health and things. So having one roll, it makes a massive difference in your survivability. So I would always suggest that if you can get it on a helm, please do so. For whatever strange reason, chest has multiple damage modifiers that you can get to as well. Imbue damage, skill damage, damage to skills that swap in weapons, all kinds of things. But don't forget to also take some defensive things in case that if you're struggling to survive. Chest is a good slot for that. Pants as well. Pants is a very good slot for that. Pants also offers Dark Shroud ranks, damage reduction to distance, damage to reduction while mobs are poison. All those are really good. You can also get imbuement skill cooldown on the pants here. It's really not that big of a deal considering that you're using two different imbuements. You shouldn't. It's not a crazy thing to go for earlier on. But if it rolls there, cool. Boots. Here, always get movement speed. Movement speed is the absolute #1 priority here. Everything else is secondary. I will also check out the first for the main attribute here where it says evades grant 70% movement speed for 1 second. I think the reduced cooldown on your evade when you're attacking is better for survivability. I think the charges one is actually better in general. I think this one's the worst of the three. Not bad. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying if I had to have a preference, I would have the other two over this one. But just take that in mind, or keep that in mind as you're looking for your boost too as well. This is a really fun build when played correctly with all the key pieces, and this is a pretty easy way to level 250 because I mean it's just so much damage. It is the biggest burst damage you're going to find on Rogue. So you like seeing those big numbers and things, you're going to have a great time with this build. And that concludes the leveling guide for Penetrating Shot Rogue. Make sure you like and subscribe, as I will also put out an in-game Penetrating Shot Rogue video guide as well, and you don't want to miss that. If you want to see this gameplay live, I will be doing this on day 1 of release in a group with Rob, Aristotelian, and Ringar as we race for world's first 100 groups. So that's going to be pretty exciting. So make sure you drop by. I will have Twitch drops enabled, so you can also get some rewards for just checking out your boy. And yeah, hope to see you there. And as always, till next time.